Well, it's a liver fat extract that says helps body's normal detox mechanisms. So.
Huh. Well, thank you.
Yeah. I had never.
Yeah. Of course, emotions will switch people. And it's interesting when I remember I was helping Dr. Francis, we were doing practical exams on the 100-hour students, this was years ago, and people would come in, they were really nervous, and they would come in and they would do the test, we'd say test this, test that, and they would test it, and then we would double check them, and it'd be completely different. And so one of us was switching the patient. Basically, one of us was causing the patient to go weird muscle finding. So anyway, sometimes we'd have to unswitch the person that the person was demonstrating on so they could get a better exam. But anyway, so emotions. The top 4, I would add nightshades to this list. I think maybe some other ones. I'd say wheat and dairy probably top of the heap, and then nightshades are pretty common. They don't show up as easily. Wheat and dairy, that's just notorious. And you could make all kinds of arguments as to the quality of the wheat and where it's grown, and that some of that's true. People, when I go to Europe, I eat all the wheat I want, I'm just fine.
Oh, you don't live in Europe.
What's that?
I always tell people, I'm like, well, you don't live in Europe, so you can enjoy it on vacation. But
yeah, and I think there is some, but when you're on vacation, a lot of times you can eat all kinds of stuff that you don't eat at home because your stress level is different. There's a lot of factors there. Anyway, a lot of these things will throw people into dural torque. And a lot of times the dural torque is causing lymphatic congestion because it's interfering with the myofascial, integrity. And a lot of times I think the stuffiness and achiness that people get with allergies are secondary to the dural torque, which is secondary to the various muscles that go out because of the. So, okay, I thought I had another slide here. Maybe I thought there maybe that's back here. I have a slide that has a bunch of muscles, several muscles for each kind of. So okay, you can just write it down. Maybe we'll find it somewhere. So for dairy, what seems to work well is psoas. So if you have a chronic psoas issue, you keep fixing it, and that psoas keeps coming back weak. Maybe check them on dairy, however you want to test. I use various methods, but maybe just if you don't have a way to test them for dairy, or just have them go off dairy for 10 days to 2 weeks. And a lot of times, to me, that's the gold standard. They go off the food and they're stuck. Bruise, it's a really good sign. And then if that doesn't do anything, then go off. I test people for gluten and dairy and soy and all these things. So I usually have kind of in the ballpark. I say, I want you to go off this food. So psoas for dairy. Pec major sternal seems to be really good for gluten. Any brain-related muscle would be like supraspinatus. Supraspinatus is a real sensitive muscle. I would also use maybe teres minor, some of the smaller muscles, which you'll learn. They are very good for corn. Also, corn, a lot of times I see problems with corn with a lot of skin issues. And you start asking people to have people do food diaries, and sometimes they're just eating tons of corn. Maybe they've been taken off gluten, so now they eat corn every day. Corn bread, corn tortillas. And so corn contains zein, which is a peptide, which is like gliadin. You guys probably know that. So PMS muscle for wheat, supraspinatus for corn, or any other muscle you want. And then dairy, I would look at psoas, and soy, any endocrine-related muscle. Gluteus medius, gluteus maximus, piriformis, adductors, sartorius gracilis. Usually Glute B, Glute Max are a good place to go with anything endocrine related. Dural torque, which we've spent most of the morning kind of investigating. Dural torque is best revealed by things like the gait test, the gait inhibition test, plus. Now, one of the classic chiropractic techniques is the leg turn-in. And that's, you also check that for psoas. Can somebody lay here for a second with a reasonably normal psoas? Or even an abnormal psoas? Somebody with a couple of psoas. What's that?
That's exactly the number I have.
2. That's good, because if you have more than that, I would go take a hands on your side. It'd be a first for me. So you look at this, and she's beautiful. Look at that. Just like normal amount. You look for the amount of toe in, but also the symmetry. And a lot of times you put a person there and one leg flops way out like that. That's usually an indication of the psoas imbalance. She's pretty good. So yeah, so you don't. Anybody else? Anybody that's kind of wonky? Anybody with a known anatomical short or long leg?
My psoas is out, but.
So make sure they're kind of straight. I do this on everybody when I get down to the head of the table. I do this, I look at leg length, I do this. He's great, actually. He's good. So yeah, you don't have that.
Good.
And sometimes when you see an asymmetry in the toe turn in, it lets you know, yeah, we got dural torque. It's not like it's going to be the only. Your right leg is a little short. You know that, right? Okay. So she's really good back. That's really good. But that right leg is anatomically short.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Usually when one leg is short, there'll be some asymmetry. That doesn't look too bad. It's just that it's short. And you wear lift?
What?
You don't wear lift?
No.
Good. Okay.
I probably have.
I got an attitude about lifts. I'm kind of an anti-lift person. I have a box of them somewhere in my office. Usually they're lost, but I take people out of lifts far more often than I put people in. That's really good.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Wow,
Let's
that's
see.
amazing, actually.
Yeah, you're.
Those were awesome.
Shouldn't touch it. They're still weak, but
My aunt's foot was off yesterday.
was it? So she's touching K27. That doesn't do anything. Cross K27. A little bit different. TL, there's something else. TL, your challenge. Inch out, inch up. Yeah. So water.
That's
Yeah.
what it was yesterday. Jamie put into my.
Drink some water and call me in the morning.
Someone's got to have dural torque.
I have that.
You have it?
What do you mean, yeah, Dean?
No, I said I have it.
Now there's AP docs that use that toe in as their testing method. It's very impressive. Brent, do you know Brent Davis, the guy, he was at the conference this year with the flower essences.
It sounds familiar. I don't
He's,
know that
that's
I know
what
him.
he does. He doesn't do any testing really. He,
Just uses that.
oh wait, let it relax.
What the heck?
I'm not
How does no one
seeing
have any?
I'm just not saying.
Tesla.
Okay, somebody, is anybody?
Usually there's someone, it's just like so off.
Get in there.
Let's just get.
We're gonna check everyone.
If it
Come on,
comes out
Dean.
straight, then you're messed up.
And that's perfectly within the realm of. Oh, no, look at that. Okay. Now everybody
Yeah.
Gather around.
Dean, why did you go first?
There's two things going on. There's two things one is he doesn't have enough turn. And this one goes more than this one. So there's definitely. Now, from here, you could, I would, when I saw that, I would usually go to the cervicals and the pelvis. Just like I would with plus or gate. This is just another way to sort of see if you need it. Arenas. But you can also do some interesting things by having him, for example, turn your head left. Doesn't really change it. Take a deep breath in. Breathe out. Now breathe in again. Deep as you can. No, that doesn't change. So nothing's changing it so far. So push your hand over your forehead and close your eyes. No. Okay. Take your hand away. I want you to relax your jaw completely. Now move your jaw to the left. Your jaw to the right. Now there, see that? That change, not huge, but just move your jaw way to the right. That actually normalizes his dural torque a little. He's got TMJ. We won't do for a couple of seconds. You guys ever seen? The show Shaun the Sheep? Have a sheep. The jaws are clear around like that. I love that show. And the farm, there's no dialogue. We've watched, there's like, I think several of them, and we've watched them all like several times. I'm not going to take this too far, but right now, open the date. So I would use, and this is a preview.
Sorry.
Protrude your jaw. Retrude. It's going through all the ranges of motion. Big, stretching, and right there we get a weakness. Clear down here on this big leg muscle. So, and when you go open and go clear the right, and clear the left. Yeah, there. So when he goes clear to the right, he actually stays strong, and that's where his toe turn-in changes a little. This is just, I mean, this is kind of digging into weird areas, but now relax the jaw, but just touch your TMJ with your finger. Push it. Now bite down. Okay. Protrude. Retrude. So take that hand away. That hand back. So I would start with the right side temporalis, and I would probably get his TMJ. Might have to do this later if we have time.
You can have TMJ issues without having clicking and popping. This is like there's so much dural torque within the nervous system, like going through the cervical spine, that it shows up in the jaw.
Your jaw joint feels pretty good. I mean, it's moving pretty good. But there's muscle imbalance. Just like your knee could be, the joint's fine, but you've got muscle imbalance. It's causing issues. Eventually it won't be fine. Muscle balance stays in there long enough, pretty soon you're going to have premature wear in the joint. Same with the jaw. But right now his jaw feels pretty decent. There's no clicking or nothing all alarming about it. Definitely his jaw is an issue.
So exactly what you're checking for with the feet?
Toe turn.
Is it
So,
even? Is
what's
that
that?
for? Like if it's even or?
Even good.
Okay.
You know, maybe 30, 40 degrees in, even good. Not enough, not good. In asymmetrical, not good. It's kind of a gross screen for dural torque. And what's happening with toe turn-in is you're testing how relaxed the psoas muscles are. So once usually the psoas is the one that's preventing this from coming. Like his left side was laying back. We'll just take this right up to lunchtime. 2 minutes. So, remember from session 1, SOAS, and that one's not firing too well, and that one is. So, now, SOAS is a hard muscle to spindle up or spindle down. You have to reach in behind his innards. But the Chapman reflex is right here. It's an inch out and an inch up, right on the belly. Doesn't do anything. So go back here to the posterior one. We probably, and that makes a difference. Now, is it the Chapman reflex or is it the spine? Not sure. But if I go in here and I challenge right at the part of where the psoas attaches only around in front of the spine, I'm going to push his spinous this way. That challenge, that stays weak. So I'm going to hold it this way. I'm going to hold it the other way. And that turns it on. So his vertebrae is like that. So I need a strong indicator muscle. Good. Strong in the clear. Challenge, challenge, challenge. Good. So his vertebrae needs to adjust this way. On the left side. Now, thoracolumbar area, whenever you find subluxations or issues, fixations, pain, whatever in the thoracolumbar, think about breathing. That's where the diaphragmatic attachments are. It's also where the psoas attachment breathe. You might not. That might be the problem. Indeed. Let it go. So I'm just going to do just a classic kind of. There we go. That looked really brutal, but jaw to the right, open, or you make. Now turn your head to the right, your head to the left. Now notice this jaw. So if we face this down to way out of script. I'm checking the C1, checking the C2 where the challenge is. Checking occiput. Occiput. So when I go S to I a little bit and P to A, challenges. So from ocular lock a little bit ago, we had the eyes straight up. First, let me do this line here. This posterior occiput, probably, and it challenges that way. I got the cart before the horse, but I challenged before I did ocular lock, but I'm keeping that challenge. The way I'm going to correct that is I'm going to do like you were doing. This, just get under that occiput.
Was it a dropped occiput?
It's
Superior?
yeah, it's inferior.
Or inferior, yeah. You're pulling it up.
Bilateral inferior. It's like jam. So just going to bring that out, and sometimes they'll just, you can feel if they want to go. I'll just bring this up. There's a. This is the same as that technique in AK.
IRT.
No, well, it is like IRT. There's another protocol where we occiput on atlas and atlas rocker motion, which is an old eyes up. Not showing now, eyes up. Now, I challenge it. Show, let's see if we made a difference. But that's starting to go I didn't make one bit of it. Now, yeah, there's always that guy.
Try
That
to
guy
stay
in
quiet. You're the one.
You're the one who asked me to go.
I
I
asked
want
for
roadkill. That's what you wanted. You got it.
Yeah, I should have thought this through.
Yeah.
About just hip internal rotation, like if it doesn't have.
Well, we can check piriformis and see, but I really do think it's in a dual torque thing, but yeah. You see this just in, yeah. Let's just double check. Challenge right side and challenge the left side. Challenge here, challenge here. Do we have blocks?
Yeah.
Even narrow blocks, I like that. Baby block. We're gonna learn this is after we grab some lunch, we're gonna learn this, we'll learn this first. It's category 2. And I'm doing the shortcut. You'll learn how to go through steps. That's now a lot of times I'll put them on blocks and then I'll check the toe, and a lot of times it's normal. See? So he did. I was trying to avoid the obvious. I wanted to do something cutesy, but it's, yeah, category 2. So Cat 2 is the only pelvic category that we're going to learn this session of the 3 that we learned. And category 2 is basically a disrelationship of the SI. It's basically an SI malposition. But it comes with kind of a whole package. A lot of times if there's a Cat 2, there's also a stenobaselar. A lot of times if there's a Cat 2, there's adrenal issues. Like there's a kind of package, it's kind of a package deal. A lot of times if there's a Cat 2, there's a problem with the knee or a lot of times if there's a knee or ankle or foot, it'll cause a Cat 2, and on it goes. So the adrenal relationship is really interesting because it's still cooking. Because you can adjust these, they usually adjust very, very easily. They're the first thing I remember learning how to adjust in chiropractic. I consider one of the easier adjustments. But they don't hold for squat if the muscles can't keep them there. A lot of times it's an adrenal thing. When the blocks are done, the challenge then will. Now, we'll learn this next after lunch. People now, is it Rolex? Is that a Rolex? Could have fooled me. They'll check and see if it's a real Rolex. I have a patient with a Rolex. Thing's really heavy because I haven't taken it off. I don't think it'd be wrong.
It's for status, no.
They look cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give his arm a yank. That goes with me. Now I could do this. I'm going to do I'm stretching ligaments. I could take this muscle here, push out, strong gluteus medius. I could stretch, challenge the ligaments of his knee. That's called ligament stretch syndrome. And a lot of us have, especially when we're in school. What it means is your adrenals are overstressed. Sure, that's the. And these are so that corrected that Cat 2 pretty easily. It's kind of pretty right now. If he doesn't walk or move, he's kind of in. So just stay like this. We'll shrink wrap the table to your back. You'll be fine. So let's go to his adrenal Chapman reflexes again, just for fun. See, comes back. So, I don't want to adjust him hard. He has ligament stretch because it's too hard on his ligament. And maybe after he eats, it's his blood sugar. I've seen this kind of go away. It should take longer to go away, ligament stretch, because it's the effect on the elastic part of connective tissue is hampered by the effects of hypertrophy, overworking your. So they probably are. At one time, they were probably created differently. Can somebody
They're all behind you still, I think.
somebody grab the test kit?
Hey,
Grab it?
Domby, I think they're all behind you still.
Oh, these.
All those were adrenal stuff.
Right.
all of us.
So I'm not gonna look, I'm just gonna test these. Sometimes people are so adrenal deficient that anything adrenal they test on, and you have to kind of ferret through to see. Which one's really there? When you start getting everything week in a row, then, look at that. Then, go ahead and breathe in. Breathe out. So when you're in the course of testing, like with this, where you're testing repeatedly, there's always a chance the breathing will kind of mess up your testing. So you want to have already cleared that. Make sure the breath in, breath out isn't affecting your test. And then if while you're testing, you start getting a whole string of negatives or positives, especially positives, you better back up and retest your baseline. You got to recalibrate your testing muscle. So I got 3, and I don't know which one. 3. Maybe he needs all of them. Stay strong. That one doesn't. Now see the difference there. Undo the strong as could be. Do the neutral. There's no reading out. Close that note. Cigar. That's how we get it down to 1. The winner is 5 HTP. That's interesting. I didn't even know I was testing that. That's the winner. And we could, what would be ideal is mix all these up and do it again. See if it comes up again, and it should. If it does, then you know. If it doesn't, then your testing is questionable. So ATP better take a touch. Anyway, so that would be what I would have him, if I had it in stock, or I'd have him order it. 5 HTP from Biotics. And we tested you on Thiazime AD, a glandular from Biotics, very good product. Adrenal complex from Meta Herb, which is an adaptogenic herbs from Standard Process. Adrenal desiccated classic glandular from Standard 85 Plus, my favorite adrenal glandulars from Biotics. ADP, which is actually, I talked about ADP yesterday. ADP is the antimicrobial.
Oregano oil.
Oregano oil. That didn't pass. I don't know why that's in there, but ADHS, which is a Biotics version of, kind of like Biotics version of the adrenal complex for Standard. It's all herbal adaptogenic. There's no glandular in this. Excellent product, by the way. I take that myself all the time. I've been on and off that since they came out with it, and that was in 2001. And I've been on and off. They've changed the formulation a little bit, over the years, just more of the amounts of things. I just keep going back on, I keep testing for it, and then I'll be good for a while. And now I start feeling buzzy, like sort of caffeinated, and I know it's time to, get something else. 5-HTP for you is what it shows.
Is that because they soul tested when he called it for August 5-HTP?
I was on his adrenal Chapman reflex, which is a really good place to test for nutrition and substance.
They were weak
And they
originally.
were, yeah, they were weak. They caused a strong individual muscle. So then when we introduced energetically those supplements, 3 of them negated that weakness. And when we did priority, we got it down to 1. That's the hardest thing you're to convince your clinic directors and, that's gonna be the hardest thing to get past some of your.
But you could test adrenal-related muscles. You could try the sartorius, the gracilis, and you could also test the medicine against them to make sure it turns them on, right? Like you can get as many factors as you want from the body to make sure that that's the medicine too. Instead of just if you're like, well, it just turns strong. It's like, okay, well, let's see what else or maybe that's going to help ligament laxity. So you could go and check that. So like all of your findings, that way you can find the one medicine that's going to help everything.
If
The more
adrenals,
indicators.
if adrenals are dysfunctioning, it's way upstream of the sartorius. The sartorius is going to be what happens when the adrenals aren't supporting those pathways. So you'll end up, it's like a really good way. Just test your gracilis.
You bet.
Now remember, it's believed that gracilis, Lynn, is more related to the cortical. Now those aren't strong. So when you find an adrenal-related muscle, yeah, that's actually good. Yeah. We didn't find too many this week yesterday. Hold that right there. That one's not great. Push. I'm going to straighten it like that. Yeah, so, okay. So now do I automatically go to nutrition testing? Not if I want to test 8 things. I'm going to make sure that it could very well be nutritional, and that's where the Chapman really comes in. That's kind of your window into what's going on with the related glands or organ. So let's see. And we know that those points were active from before. Hold there. See, that really verifies. Pull in. So then I'm not going to keep testing those adrenal-related muscles to get the nutrition. I'm going to test a strong indicator muscle that isn't already compromised and use these points. So that would be how I would get to that point, which is an excellent point that you would want, because that's really where the rubber meets the road, is through the muscles and how they affect the knees and hips. Now, what was it, 5-HTP? Hard to get any chemical off that, but have you hold it either right-handed, maybe use a magnet, give as much energy field as we can, pull in. That's good enough for me. So that's another way to go about it. But see, I didn't find that using the gracilis or the sartorius. It would be too much testing of that, too much for him and too much for me. That was strong, wasn't it? There we go. And then try this. Yeah. So yeah. So that's double, triple, quadruple verified. All right. Which is the precursor to DHEA. Right? It's like way up in that building blocks of the.
He has like cortisol steal happening with all the. Well, that would make
Pregnenolone.
sense. Like you're trying, it would be like trying to feed the other hormone pathway. It's all being stolen for big cortisol. Stress.
Pregnenolone steel.
Yeah.
So Huh?
Sure.
Okay, you'll believe anything. So, we'll break for lunch, go with that.
I'm taking a road trip to get caffeine.